Why they are not similar? Time, because they are governed by time and place. And of these three parameters, time, place and objectivity. So the time is different. The place, sometimes it may come from the bottom of your throat, sometimes it may catch the next vocal cord, sometimes it may come just from this part, sometimes the length of may be shorter, sometimes it may be longer, sometimes when you stop with the Om, sometimes that may be longer or shorter. So it's never, there are so many permutations or combinations possible. So no two thoughts can be similar. Now the next point, in between two Vishayakara vrittis, that means in between two thoughts of objects, objective thoughts, there is no modification and no supporter and object. Between two objects, there is emptiness. There is no object available. Where? Yes, here there is a electric point, there is a wall, there is a skirting. Not here. When you think about in the thought, when you are chanting Om or when you are watching the breath, between two breaths, between in breath and out breath, if you catch that point, suddenly there is emptiness, which many people are afraid of. They lose their identity. I'm not a thing. I'm losing my memory. This, that. When you are chanting Om and it slows down, again there is emptiness between the two. Every night when you go to sleep, I am feeling sleepy, I am feeling sleepy, I am feeling sleepy, I am feeling sleepy, and suddenly sleep comes. What happens? You have entered between the two thoughts. And when you enter between the two thoughts, but here you have either the thoughts by themselves are not appearing, but on the seat of meditation you enter between the two thoughts. We ask you to, that when a gap appears, remain in the gap without projecting any new thought. This is the instruction given. So what happens in that state? In that state, the mind, which is nothing but thoughts, has got no object to hold on to. And if enough purification is done, then even the memory is not there. Because memory is a product of the mind also, isn't it? So no thoughts are coming up. How do you chant Om, Om, Om? How are you doing it? You are remembering to chant Om, isn't it? So even that has stopped. And now you are in that gap where there is nothing for the mind to hold on to. Therefore the mind gets. Don't be scared. This state of no thought is called Unmani. If you can remain in that state, if you can remain in that gap, if you can remain between the two thoughts for an extended period of time, it is called Unmani Avastha. It's a state of utter bliss. We understand, but only two things can happen. Either you can get into that Unmani Avastha, or you can get into sleep. Majority of the people get into sleep. And then they wake up and they thought, oh, that was a very peaceful place. It was not a peaceful place. It was an ignorant place where you didn't know where you go. Unmani Avastha is not like, is when you, we will explain more. What is this state? In this state, the mind is equipoised and modifications exist no more. Equipoised between means what? Equipoised means the mind is absolutely untrembling. It's just there. It's maintaining that poise. Such a characteristic Unmani state of a jnani. For such a person, the person is seeing, but there is no commentary taking place. He is hearing, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, but no response is coming from the mind, because the mind is there. That is how our Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, he used to sit one question and used to go into this Unmani Avastha for hours. Eyes are open. He is in this pose, or he used to sit in this pose, lying down on a tilted bed, and suddenly he goes, and he is like that with the eyes open for hours together. Is it fixation? No. In that state, he knows everything. The eyes are watching, or the eyes are open, the objects are coming and going, but the person is not available. The mind is not reacting to the stimuli. Absolutely. The eyes see, but the objects are not objectified as such and such an object. So there is no commentary. Where does the commentary take place? Does the commentary take place at the level of eye? No. Eyes only take an image. Now see this funny part. You think you are seeing a straight world. Everyone is walking straight. You think that way. The law of physics says that an inverted image of the object is created on the retina. So actually I am seeing you upside down. You tell me if it is correct. I am seeing you, actually the eyes are seeing upside down, and the inverted image is created in the mind, and then I am making you see, therefore I think that I am seeing you straight. Is that correct? So am I seeing a straight world, or am I seeing an upside down world? Really? Never thought about it, huh? So uncle is sitting. In reality, the chair is upside down and uncle is hanging. But it looks like as if, this is our reality right now. But when you start inquiring in it, it's funny, the whole thing. And we become so serious about everything. Even one simple thing, that what I'm seeing is itself not a real thing. So here what the eyes see, but the objects are not objectified, meaning the objects do not create an image, because there is no mind available to create an image. See what I keep saying in many of my lectures, that you must be like a camera without the reel inside. Then what is happening? You are seeing the objects through the lens of the camera, but because there is no reel, can the image be formed? Cannot be formed, isn't it? So you can keep clicking, but no image will be formed. That's exactly how this fellow is.
But you have no desire then.
Yes, this is going beyond desire. Now desires, there is no, that even that last desire that I have to be between the two thoughts, that also has gone. Actually that thought that I have to be between the two thoughts is also not there. The thought is that I am Brahman, and with that thought, in the previous verse we took that in the last class towards the end. Yes, there is no doubt what you are saying, because what is a desire? Desire expresses in our mind as what? As a thought, isn't it?